Tonight, see how religious text fits in an academic setting.
Plus, if you haven't heard the fairs in town, we'll take a look inside. Stay tuned. TrojanVision Nightly News starts now.
From the high-definition digital production center on the Troy campus, with news from Troy University locations around the world, this is Troy TrojanVision Nightly News.
Hello and welcome to Troy TrojanVision Nightly News for October 18, 2012. I'm Courtney Addison.
And I'm Judson Garner. Thanks for joining us this evening. For many, it's finally starting to feel like fall with the Pike County Fair up and running. I set out last night to see how things were going so far. The Pike County Fair is full of activities, but attendees do have their preferences.
Dressing up.
My favorite part is winning the prizes.
Yeah.
I like the food. I like the food and the rides.
Yeah. And the food and rides are an important draw for fair goers. The annual Pike County Fair opened its gates on Monday, and me and videographer Bailey Major set out to see if this year's attractions meet expectations.
It
was good?
Yeah. The Ring of Fire, it had stopped at the top, and it felt like I was gonna fall.
Are you gonna ride it again? Why are you not gonna ride it again?
'Cause it's scary.
When the fair comes into town, it brings Ferris wheels and funnel cakes, but the one thing the fair leaves are memories, and those can last a lifetime.
We were in the house, the little haunted house thing, the one that moves and everything cut off, and this guy came in with a mask on, and everybody was like real scared.
I can remember, I think it's probably the first time I ever rode a merry-go-round. You couldn't go to the mall back then and ride a merry-go-round.
The Pike County Fair is more than a community gathering. People who were raised from childhood in the area want to see their kids experience just as much joy as they did when they were younger.
They work hard in school and they all make good grades, and so I want them to be rewarded and to just have a good time.
Had a chance to stop by the Pike County Fair. So far, it runs up until this Saturday.
And while Pike County residents were out enjoying the fairgrounds last night, the University Activities Council brought some carnival fun to campus for Troy students to enjoy. Christina Cook has the story.
Food, fun, games, and friends brought many students out to UAC's annual Oktoberfest just in time for the fall season. And since some students may not have the opportunity to visit the fair this year, UAC decided to bring it to them.
It's like a carnival for the students. We have different prizes, a lot of different games. We have a DJ, and unlike last year, we just had regular food, but we wanted to make it more like a carnival. Everything about it is 100% free. So the students are just out having fun.
The evening provided students with a night of many fun activities, including carnival games, which appeared to bring back some childhood memories.
I've just gone back and forth to some of the same games, trying to get food.
And I watched my friends play the hacky sack game.
We've really enjoyed the putt-putt. We had fun with that. The fair is something that you go to as children, and everyone loves the fair. Who doesn't? So college kids, that gives them a chance to go be kids for a night.
And it seemed to be just the escape many students needed from their busy school schedules.
It's just a time for people to get together and enjoy campus without being focused on books and other things. It brings everybody together, like Greeks, non-Greeks, everybody just out here having fun.
Christina Cook, Troy, TrojanVision News.
The next UAC event will be a showing of Paranormal Activity 3 in Patterson Hall, Room 101 this Sunday at 7 p.m. Well, Judson, Bible scripture is commonly heard in church services and Sunday sermons.
That's right, Courtney, but how does a religious text like the Bible fit into an academic setting? A forum held by Troy University's English department tried to find out. Sydney Todd has the story.
In Wednesday's English forum, students got the chance to voice their opinions on whether or not sacred text should be used in the classroom. In the midst of the discussion, the Quran and the Bible were used as examples. Is it inappropriate? Or maybe bring up some legal issues? One professor doesn't think so.
So my discussion is twofold, actually. It's to demonstrate how we can use sacred texts, any sacred text, okay, from any religion, in teaching and writing, and to promote understanding and multiculturalism. among our students.
The discussion raised some skepticism, but in the end found common ground.
I thought it was very good, the point to, because sacred texts are very important for learning literature, because a lot of literature from the past gets a lot of its imagery, allusions, symbolism from either biblical allusions or the Quran, depending on what part of the world you're looking at.
Overall, the hour showed there can be positives with implementing the text in everyday study. Sydney Todd, TrojanVision News.
The English department holds forums throughout the school year. Yesterday's forum was the 25th installment of the series.
And now taking a look at news from around the state. In Montgomery, employees who enter computed data at 2 high schools say they witnessed school administrators violating school policies to help students achieve higher grades with little or no work. The accusations come as state officials continue to investigate the allegations of widespread cheating in the Montgomery County public school system.
And in Dothan, court records show the federal government has dropped a felony kidnapping charge against a man after police say a girl was taken from an obstetrics office at Southeast Alabama Medical Center in Dothan last month. Prosecutors had asked the court to dismiss the charge against Charles Dean Parton. Instead, a federal grand jury returned an indictment charging Parton with felony transportation of a stolen vehicle.
And in Birmingham, the former president of the Board of Education has pleaded guilty to using his public office for personal gain. Edward Maddox entered his guilty plea yesterday, stepping down from the board as a part of an agreement with the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office.
And still to come on TrojanVision Nightly News, the Trojan soccer team was in action today for their final home game of the season. Justin McNelly will give us the details when he joins us with sports.
But first, police are still investigating the man who is accused of trying to bomb the Federal Reserve building in New York City. We'll have that story and more after the break.
New details on the foiled terror plot to blow up the Federal Reserve Bank. I'm Duarte Geraldino in New York with that story coming up.
We are America's swim team, united by goggle marks,
dry skin, and webbed feet.
Separated by seconds.
Bound by friendships.
We have superhuman powers, superhuman lungs,
superhuman strength. And we love
that after the chlorine wears off
and the water drains from our ears,
we are still America's swim team.
I am.
I am.
I am.
I am.
I am.
We are America's swim team.
When you're finished with your food or beverage cartons, toss it in the recycling bin. Because every carton is recyclable and can be turned into useful paper products. Put your carton in the bin with your other recyclables and let them start a new life. When the contents are gone, let the carton live on. Recycle your cartons.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning TrojanVision Nightly News.
And now for a look at what's happening across the nation and around the world, we'll go to Courtney Addison at the Global News Desk. Courtney.
Thanks, Judson. With less than 3 weeks to go before Election Day, President Obama and Mitt Romney are focusing on the critical support of women. Danielle Nottingham has the latest from the White House.
President Obama headed to Manchester, New Hampshire this morning to rally supporters and sway undecided voters. The president and Republican challenger Mitt Romney are both making a push for women's votes in the final weeks of the campaign.
This is a presidency that has not helped America's women. And as I go across the country and ask women, what can I do to help? What they speak about day in and day out is, help me find a good job.
Recent polls show Romney making gains with women voters, but his comment at Tuesday's debate about hiring women as Massachusetts governor is still drawing fire.
They brought us whole binders full of women.
Romney apparently meant to say binders full of women's resumes. Democrats are on the attack.
The idea here to go and ask where a qualified woman was, he just should have come to my house. He didn't need a binder.
The Republican White House hopeful will spend most of his day preparing for Monday's third and final debate on foreign policy. President Obama and Governor Romney will also be on the same stage tonight. Both candidates will speak at the annual Alfred E. Smith Memorial Dinner in New York. The charity event is usually a lighthearted gathering that allows them to poke fun at themselves and each other. Tomorrow, both men return to the campaign trail with more stops in the battleground states that will decide this very close race. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News, the White House.
We're learning more about the Bangladeshi man accused of trying to bomb the Federal Reserve building in New York City as investigators look to see if more people were involved. Duarte Geraldino reports from New York.
Outside the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, there are no signs of extra security after the building was the target of an alleged terror plot. 21-year-old Quasi Nafis is accused of trying to blow up the building, which holds a large reserve of gold. Investigators are looking to see if more people were involved.
What they're looking for are who did he tell, what did he tell them, and when did they know it.
Nafis came to the United States on a student visa in January to study at Southeast Missouri State University. The FBI says it started watching him in July after he tried setting up a terror cell online. That's when agents began a sting operation.
He comes here with, the avowed purpose of committing some sort of jihad here in the United States.
On Wednesday, the FBI says Nafis tried to use a cell phone to detonate a 1,000-pound bomb in front of the bank, but the FBI made sure that bomb was harmless. Nafis is a banker's son from a middle-class neighborhood in Bangladesh. His family says he's the victim of a racist conspiracy, but the FBI says he was a jihadist who recorded a video claiming responsibility for the attack in the name of Al-Qaeda.
He alleged to already have Al-Qaeda contacts from overseas. Were those contacts real? Did he launch himself here on a self-propelled plot, or was he sent?
Wednesday night, federal agents carried boxes of evidence from his apartment, hoping to learn more. Duarte Geraldino for CBS News, New York.
The Boy Scouts of America released 20 years worth of secret files on men suspected of child sex abuse. Inez Ferre is in New York with the latest details.
The Boy Scouts of America released almost 15,000 pages of its so-called perversion files. The documents contain the names of more than 1,200 scout leaders and volunteers accused of child sex abuse between 1965 and 1985.
The Boy Scouts knew they had an institution-wide problem with child abuse and didn't take steps to deal with that.
The Oregon Supreme Court ordered the Boy Scouts to release the files. The names of victims and witnesses were blocked out before the documents were posted online. Lawyers who fought to have the files made public accused the Boy Scouts of covering up sex abuse cases.
You do not get to keep secrets about hidden dangers to children. Period. End of conversation.
The Boy Scouts says the purpose of the files was to keep child molesters out of the organization. But abuse victims, including Tom Stewart, say the files did not protect them.
I do want to speak for all the victims that can't speak for themselves. Scouting does have some good points. However, right now it's a very dangerous program for young boys.
Boy Scouts of America President Wayne Perry admits the organization did not do enough to prevent abuse.
We have to also remember that was a different time. I will tell you, I'm not going to defend what might have happened in the context of then. To the extent that we fell short of protecting a youth, and we did fall short in some instances, we're profoundly sorry.
Perry says the organization is now a leader in preventing child abuse and uses computer background checks on all volunteers. Inez Ferre for CBS News.
And that wraps things up from the Global News Test. To see more stories from across the country and around the world, such as what newspaper after 80 years as a newsstand staple is ending its print edition and going all digital, you can tune in to Trojan Vision Global News right after the nightly news. Now, back to you, Judson.
Thanks a lot, Courtney. Now, Justin McNally joins us for a look at sports. So, Justin, lots of Trojan athletics in action today.
That's right. We had the volleyball team in action tonight. Soccer team just ended not long ago. We also got the football game coming up Saturday. Let's talk about soccer for a little bit, knowing they just got a big win.
All right.
Tied for 8th place in the last spot in the conference tournament, the Trojan soccer team needed a win over Louisiana Lafayette to give themselves some breathing room. The Trojans were able to do just that as they were able to overcome the Raging Cajuns and defeat them 1-0 in overtime. Maddie Teagan scored the lone goal for the match and sent the Trojan soccer team out the right way at home. Maddie Winters posted yet another shutout this year, her third individually and the 6th of the season for the Trojans. The Trojans are now alone in the 8th and final playoff spot in the Sun Belt standings with 2 matches remaining. The Trojans will travel to Monroe, Louisiana on Sunday to take on the Warhawks of ULM. The Warhawks have struggled so far this season with a 4-12 record, and that includes 6 losses in their last 7 games. That game is set to begin at 1 p.m. And the Trojan volleyball team can accomplish 2 things in tonight's game against South Alabama. With a win, they can match the all-time wins mark in school history, but more importantly, get revenge on their rivals. The last time the Trojans and the Jaguars played, it was the Jags coming out on top in a grueling 4-set match. The Trojans enter tonight's matchup in second place in the Sun Belt standings at 6-2, but that is only enough for a 1-game lead over South Alabama, who enters at 5-3. Head coach Sonny Kirkpatrick knows his team needs a good performance in tonight's game.
So if we're not mentally prepared for that match or for Thursday night's match, we're not going to win. And my job and my assistant's job is to make sure that we're mentally and physically as ready as we can be going into every match.
You still have time to make it out to Sartain Hall as the game is set to begin at 7 o'clock with the pep rally for the football team set to go on in between sets. And speaking of the football team, the last time the Trojans and the Panthers met at Larry Blakeney Field, the Trojans had won 12 straight homecoming games and were 5-3 on the seasons. The Trojans were favored over the visiting FIU and were expected to keep on rolling to a 5th straight Sun Belt title. However, for that game, FIU did not get that memo. The Panthers tore apart the Trojan defense for a total of 668 total yards of offense. 241 of those yards were from running back TJ Hilton, who now plays for the Colts. The Panthers scored 31 of their 52 points in the second quarter and went on to defeat the Trojans 52-35. The Trojans dropped the game. The loss dropped the Trojans to a half a game behind the Panthers in the Sun Belt race. Then last year, the Trojans dropped a close game that went in overtime 23-20 to the Panthers in Miami. Head coach Larry Blakeney knows that those 2 wins were not a fluke.
They really embarrassed us up here 2 years ago, and then, of course, we went to overtime and lost down there last year. They're a good football team, you know. They're not going to be it won't be an easy task this week.
The Trojans and the Panthers will have an early kickoff as the game is set to begin at noon at Veterans Memorial Stadium. And both Troy men's and women's tennis teams are in action this coming up weekend as the men travel to Auburn and the women travel to Tuscaloosa to take part in the USTA ITA Southern Regional Championships. The men's side will send 10 individuals to play in the tournament, while the women's side will compete against 12 other teams. Winners of this tournament automatically qualify for next month's USTA ITA National Indoor Championships in New York. And even though the MLB season is almost over with, the Trojan baseball team is just getting started. In an exhibition game, the Trojans will stop inter-squad play to take on the Ontario Blue Jays on Sunday. The Blue Jays compete in the Premier Baseball League and are making their rounds playing teams such as Troy, Alabama State, FIU, and Florida Gulf Coast. That game is set to begin at 1 p.m. So as you can see, Judson Courtney, big win for the soccer team. They really needed that to get back in the conference title hunt and into the conference tournament. Volleyball team's got their game tonight against a rival, and football's even playing this weekend, and even baseball's got a game on Sunday.
Well, lots of stuff going on. Plenty of teams to get out and support. Should keep students pretty busy.
That's right. Hopefully they can all get a win just like the soccer team did today.
All right. Thanks a lot, Justin.
Right.
Coming up on TrojanVision Nightly News, Aaron Taylor tells us more about Troy University's yearbook.
But first, we've been seeing warmer temperatures during the day and cooler temperatures at night. But what can we expect going into our weekend, Bree?
We have been experiencing a mixture of temperatures during the past few days, but it looks like those conditions are definitely here to stay. I'll have more coming up next in weather.
Our Troy program is one of the largest in Troy University. So whether students take classes in Tennessee or in South Korea or Japan or Vietnam, there is no difference in quality.
Get your degree on your terms with eTroy online degree programs. Flexible, accredited, respected across the globe. Troy University, it's all you need to know.
My name is Dr. Lee, Troy University College of Education, and I choose Troy.
Come on, let's go.
Hey, hi, what's your name? You live around here? You're pretty. Where are you guys going? Where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you going?
Guess it's about time to get you fixed, sweetie.
Your pets will start getting noticed sooner than you think. Accidental litters lead to millions killed in shelters each year. Help prevent more. Fix at month 4.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning TrojanVision Nightly News.
And now Bree Sanders joins us for a look at weather.
So, Bree, we've had those warm temperatures all week, a little cooler at night. Can we be seeing those temperatures to stick around so we can get outside and enjoy all the athletic events going on this weekend?
Actually, yes, we can. Those temperatures will definitely be here to stay throughout the weekend, and I'll get more into that right now. First, let's take a look at our current conditions. As we take a look at what's going on campus right now, the sun is setting right over Bibb Graves. So, yes, we did have that rain earlier today, but it passed through, and now we have that picture-perfect weather back in our area. Right now, we have partly cloudy skies, temperatures at 75 degrees, dew points at 63 degrees, humidity is at 66%, barometers at 29.83 inches and steady. Winds are coming in from the south at about 3 miles per hour. Today's stats, we had a high today of 79, a low of 58. There was 1.28 inches of rain today. The sun rises at 6:50 a.m. and it should set at 6:08 p.m. Our temperatures around the state, overall the state is experiencing a mixture of temperatures right now. Mobile coming in at 75, Huntsville with the low at 74, Birmingham at 75 as well, Montgomery with the high at 78, Troy at 75, Phoenix City at 72, and Dothan at 74. Temperatures around the southeast in our state, we're experiencing about some lower to mid 60 degree temperatures in our area, and as we move throughout the rest of the southeast, those temperatures remain constant right there in the Carolinas. Looking at our temperatures around the United States, however, here on the west coast, those temperatures decrease significantly into about the mid-40s, about 20 degrees cooler than what we've been experiencing lately, as well as temperatures throughout the northeast here experiencing some lower to mid-30 degree temperatures, a lot cooler than what we've been looking at. Maybe they are about to experience those winter temperatures a lot earlier than the rest of the states. Current surface map here, they have a few high pressure systems along the northwest, bringing in those cooler temperatures and strong winds in their area. But as we take a closer look into the southeast, we have this cold front pushing through the southeast, possibly coming through our area about a couple days ago, bringing in those cooler temperatures as well as that rain that we just saw a few hours ago. Departure from normal in our area, we're about a degree cooler than what we've been seeing lately, so you at home might not be able to experience it too much, but maybe those fall conditions are definitely here to stay. Precipitation forecast for the next 48 hours in our area, we shouldn't be experiencing any more rain, but as we look throughout the rest of the southeast, they will be experiencing about half an inch to an inch of rain or so, about a 30% chance of rain in their area over the next 2 days. Moving into tomorrow, still no rain in our area, but as we head throughout the northeastern parts of the states, they will be experiencing a little bit of rain, possibly pushing through our area sometime next week. That rain clears out as we head into Saturday. As we close out our weekend on Sunday, still no rain in our area, but that rain kind of does push into the northeast just a little bit. And as we start our week on Monday, still no rain in our area, but we see that rain coming back through the northern parts of the states. Taking a look at tonight's forecast, we have partly cloudy skies, about a 10% chance of rain, light winds coming in from the west-northwest at about 4 miles per hour with a low of 49 degrees. So tonight will be much like last night. It'll be very cool outside, so you may want to keep that light jacket on hand with you. For tomorrow's forecast, we have mainly sunny skies. There will be no rain tomorrow. Light winds coming in from the west-southwest at about 10 miles per hour with a high of 79 degrees. So tomorrow will be almost like today, except we won't have to worry about that rain and those partly cloudy skies in our area. It will definitely be picture perfect tomorrow, so you can go outside and enjoy the beginning part of your weekend. As we move into our 4-day forecast, like I said, tomorrow the high gets to about 79 degrees with a low of 46. The lows getting back down into those mid-40s, possibly bringing in those cooler temperatures as we head throughout the weekend. On Saturday, the high gets just up to about 75. No rain in our area. Low remains at 46. On Sunday, the high goes back up to 79 with a low of 51. And on Thursday, the high gets back to 81 degrees. So, Courtney, yes, throughout the week we have been experiencing a mixture of conditions, and we had a little bit of rain earlier today, but as we head throughout the weekend, those conditions will be back into the mid to lower 80-degree weather right now, so we will have those picture-perfect and warm conditions just in case you do decide to stay here this weekend and enjoy those Trojan sports.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Bree.
You're welcome.
Thanks.